2, 3, 4. The main street of downtown Woonsocket slopes like a rabbit laying in the grass, as if it were tired from evading a predator. There is something beautiful about this place, but also sad, like a once famous Hollywood starlet on a reality show. You are surprised that I, almost 1,000 years old, watch reality television? Not a lot, but I find it more original than some things. I have heard all the stories and heard them retold by this generation, and that I think mediocrity is where true originality lies. By accident, but most people would call me crazy for thinking so. Anyways. My bus took a little over 2 hours from Boston, passing by Providence, and I slept the whole time, something I rarely do. From the bus stop, I walked up Providence Street there in Woonsocket and stopped at a diner called Al's Place that had walls inside painted lime green and still had Halloween decorations up. We were in February for some reason. There was a mummy and a purple vampire right above my table on the wall. The vampire looked very happy to be a vampire. I am lucky in a way, were I ever to be discovered, that for the last 50 or so years it would seem that people are more hesitant to dislike us. There's Count Chocula and the one on Sesame Street, and Brad Pitt, I think, though I still haven't seen that movie. I found myself staring at the very happy purple vampire as I ate my 2 hard-boiled eggs and rye toast with butter. The owner, not Al, caught me staring like I was some kind of weird person and said, "Sorry, we keep meaning to take those down, but the owner's kids made them, so..." I didn't have much money left, but the meal was necessary. I felt guilty for staring at the child's art and tipped the price of the meal. Downtown Woonsocket lies on a sharp turn of the Blackstone River, which is a pretty name for a river, I think. Like I said, the city is somewhat beautiful, but has seen better days. There are many empty storefronts and more empty spaces for apartments above them in disused and abandoned brick and stone buildings. I made my way down Main Street, where I was greeted with a large Bienvenu à Woonsocket on the side of a building, meaning "Welcome to Woonsocket," of course, in French. Woonsocket has lots of French-Canadian immigrants once upon a time. Interestingly, the word was spelled without the E at the end, so that it does not translate as an extended invitation, as in we extend a welcome, but rather an adjective, as in a welcome sight. If you jumbled the words around, it could translate as the welcome Woonsocket, or maybe it could be the Woonsocket welcome, if you make it the noun, though I do not think this was their intention. I went into an antique store that felt more like a fancy pawn shop, and showed the owner a small pocket watch I had from the 17th century, most likely worth around more than $20,000 at auction. I asked how much he would pay, and he took a very long look at it with his loupe, and like his brain had actually been thinking something other than how to swindle me, he told me $200, which I agreed to on the condition that I could buy it back for $220 if he agreed he would not sell it in the next week. We shook on it, and I saw his eyes get a little scared when we shook, which is another little trick I have. Nothing very big or powerful, but I knew that for the next week at least he would hesitate to sell the watch or even get it appraised. Why do I not sell the watch and stay in Boston, you say? Well, aside that Boston is now very, very expensive, and $20,000 would not get me very far, being a mortal and all, if you follow me. But also, when I have tried to sell the few old trinkets I have kept with me through intermediaries, it typically causes me problems. So I have my ways. A little cash to get me through the next few days, and I will get the money through honest work. And so, where was I to live? Funnily enough, right across City Hall. Right across where apparently good old honest Abraham the President once had come to give a speech, said this plaque. My building read the Rhode Island Hospital Trust Company, and while the ground floor may be occupied eventually, the 4 floors above it had windows with a variety of tags and graffito, as if they had been accomplished by floating spirits, or dare I say, vampires in the night. Who knows? I should be so lucky. One of these floors would be mine. But I would have to wait until cover of darkness, so I went by the river and watched the color of water to relax. I am vampire, but I do not like being in the dark in a strange place if you're not surprised. I am small and people can push me around sometimes, and it's not like I want to attract more attention to myself by biting someone's calf as they kick me in the gut, so more than often I just let things pass me by. But anyways, there was no real danger here, and although I have bags, they are not impressive, so I was pretty sure I blended in with a few randos I saw walking around. How did I find this building? The amazing supernatural Google Maps, of course, and then Reddit. I found a thread that led me to a YouTube video of some people who were breaking into old buildings, and I thought most likely nothing has changed, and I was right. Although I had to scale a small fence, the basement had a small window loose and I was just barely able to fit my duffel bags through. But that is not your question. Why Woonsocket? Well, because if you're a mortal like me, you see time in a very different way. And while I was sad to see Boston go, I must invest in a new place where I won't be bothered and which will one day have the potential to be a place where there are artists who can make art and live on very little and not be worried that they are in a way because they are not making people money. Today is not that day for Woonsocket, but perhaps it is tomorrow. And after all, at the very least, I know that here, I am Bienvenu, or something like it. I am tired now, so I will sleep a little bit for once, which again is rare for me to do it so much, but my new home perhaps has potential. I will tell you how it goes.